CBS News political director Finn Gomez joins us now. Finn, it's great to see you.
Hey, Weege.
Hey. So that's just one example of so many tight races around the country. Are you seeing any races get even tighter as we get closer to the midterms?
There's probably about 7 or 8 toss-up states, that, if you will, that you were just seeing, like, as we're just less than a week away to November 8th, to Election Day. You are seeing that tightening overall. You could talk about Georgia. There's an AJC poll that shows that it's like dead even. Even in Pennsylvania, you've seen some narrowing there. But also, there's some races that we're not paying as much attention to as we maybe should, like Ohio, North Carolina, that have been very close and sort of been bucking a trend where Democrats have been running against this narrative and against, maybe a cycle where you're seeing especially right now, where you're seeing it's maybe Republicans gaining a little bit, like in momentum. Sherry Beasley in North Carolina. You're talking about Tim Ryan in Ohio. So there are interesting races, and it is tightening.
I want to get to Tim Ryan in a minute, but in so many of these states, it's almost like just a continuation of 2020, right? I mean, because you look at Georgia, Arizona, these are states that had such a profound impact on the presidential election and on candidates and former candidates now, including Liz Cheney, who remarkably is campaigning for Democrats right now. Talk to me about that.
That's fascinating. You're talking, just like look at her family. She's the daughter of the former vice president, Vice President Cheney. She's, the vice chair of the Jan 6 committee, of course. But she lost and pretty badly in the primary in August against her Trump-backed rival. And now what she's doing is she's sort of taking this, like, not looking past parties and supporting Democrats. So just yesterday she was campaigning for Alyssa Slotkin in Michigan.
Actually, we have some sound of that. I'd love to hear from her, from Liz Cheney.
This is, by the way, the first time I have ever campaigned for a Democrat. We have to stand up, every one of us, and say, we're going to do what's right for this country. We're going to look beyond partisan politics. If the people in our party are not doing the job they need to do, then we're going to vote for the people in the other party.
Of course, she was one of the first and only Republicans who really expressed opposition for the former president when it came to January 6th, and now she's campaigning for Democrats. I want to turn to that race that you mentioned in Ohio, the very tight Senate race between J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan. Vance, who at one point was a harsh critic, had harsh critiques for former President Trump, and now is banking on his support to win.
And to segue from Alyssa Slotkin to this race, Liz Cheney also said that she would be supporting Tim Ryan if she were an Ohio voter, right? So, she's also expressed her support for Tim Ryan, the Democrat, in this race. And this race, it's so fascinating because it is, again, you see Tim Ryan sort of bucking this trend, this state that has become more and more Republican. The gubernatorial candidate, Mike DeWine, is up by double digits, but yet Tim Ryan, this Democratic congressman, is running neck and neck with J.D. Vance, who went from a Trump, like a never Trumper essentially, to someone who is essentially an election denier now. And so Liz Cheney said, no, I'm supporting, again, I'm supporting Tim Ryan. And again, Ryan has run this race where he's run as a centrist, he's run as a moderate. He's embraced certain Trump policies, but at the same time, he's distanced himself enough that he has become sort of this authentic candidate that you may not be seeing as much of in some of these races.
Does
I think
he have a
Democrats.
chance?
Does he have a
chance? Neck and neck, but
does he have a chance? I think that. I think it's still very hard. The climate's very hard. I think, it's a Rust Belt state. They're looking at inflation. They're looking at jobs in that state specifically. It will be it's still pretty much an uphill climb for Ryan to pull it off.
Okay. We will be turning to you to see what happens.
Good to have you back, Weege.
Thank you, Finn. It's great to be back. Finn Gomez, thank you.